Forget building wealth, forget becoming rich, forget becoming a millionaire. You can't do any of those things without a savings. Now, they talk about people can't afford $1,000 emergency. There's people who can't even afford $100 emergency. Before you can build wealth, before you can become a millionaire, before you can even become rich, you have to have the foundation of savings. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to build a savings from scratch. Welcome to another episode of Becoming with Angelina Watkins, and I'm your host, Angelina, your queen of becoming, here to help you achieve emotional, spiritual, and financial prosperity. In today's episode, we're going to talk about building a savings from scratch. So, in this economic world we are in today, where we have inflation, everything's going up. I mean, the prices of food is going up, the cost of living is going up, the cost of housing is going up, interest rates are going up, everything's increasing, including utilities. I used to be able to average about 200, 250 to run my air conditioner in the summer and my heat in the winter. And this past winter, my heating bills were like almost $500. Like, everybody is taking advantage of us right now and increasing their prices and overpricing things because they know we need it. We can't live without heat. We can't live without, well, we can probably live without air, but I ain't living without air. We can't live without food. We got to have a place to live. I mean, even the cost of rents is way more than mortgages these days, and mortgages are still high with the interest rates. And so, how can we save in a time like this? It becomes really difficult. It becomes really difficult to save for an emergency fund. It becomes really difficult to save for retirement. It becomes really difficult just to save for a vacation. Okay. I am going to talk about how you can build a savings from scratch. But before we get into that, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time, we are here every Thursday dropping the knowledge to help you become who you need to be, so that you can do what you're supposed to do, so that you can live the abundant life that you want to live. And we tackle all types of topics about helping you and informing you to become who you need to be, so that you can win at love, life, and money. And so I want to tell you to subscribe. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss another episode. And before we get into it, I want to make sure that I mention my book that is out now. You can get it on Amazon. Path to Prosperity. Okay, go check it out. It's 17 secrets to building wealth that you can start today. And I'm giving all the secrets, all the stuff that people didn't want to tell you, what you need of how the wealthy build their wealth. Now, let's get into it. How can you build a savings from scratch? How can you build from having nothing and when it's a hard time? Because we need a savings, right? You got to have an emergency fund. Saving your money is about having an emergency fund for emergencies. And emergencies can be things like your refrigerator going out. That's happened to me in this year. Your washer or dryer going out. That's happened to me in the last couple of years. Emergency can just be getting a flat tire. I mean, do you have the money to pay for a new tire? You would be amazed at the number of people who don't even have $100 for an emergency. So we got to be saving, you all. You've got to be saving for for an emergency. And one of the biggest questions become, do I save for an emergency fund over retirement, or retirement over an emergency fund? And I'm just going to tell you right now, you should be doing both. If you can do both, you should be doing both. I mean, if you are working for an employer who's offering an 401k, then you should be having a percentage of your salary going automatically into retirement and getting that matching that your employer is giving you, because most employers give you some type of matching, whether it's 3%, 4%, up to maybe 6%, or 50%, not 50%, but like 50 per, like my job, I think, does like up to 4%, and then 50% of what you put into your retirement up to the 6%. So why would you not get that free money? That is free money. They're matching. Okay. So you should be putting into a retirement. But along with putting into your retirement, because we should always be planning for old age, we still need money. We need money for emergencies. We need money for vacations. We need money to buy a house. We need money to take care of our children and provide an education for them. We need money just for the luxuries and the lifestyles that we want. For the cars that we want to buy. And so while we should be focused on making sure we plan for the future, what about today? Don't you want to enjoy your life today? Who wants to wait till they're 65, 67, 72 when they retire and then want to enjoy their money? No, we want to build riches today. But in order to build riches, you got to learn how to save. You can't invest if you don't learn how to save your money and put your money away. Okay, so let's talk about savings. How do we begin to save? And before I get into the tips of how to build your savings from scratch, I just want to tell you that you cannot save if you don't have the discipline. Okay, you've got to be able to discipline yourself, put the money away, and not touch it. You got to be consistent. We can't save every once in a while. We need to be putting money away on a consistent basis, not on a every 2 months or every 6 months basis, but on a weekly basis, a bi-weekly basis, or a monthly basis, depending on how you get paid. You should be putting money away. So you need to be discipline yourself. You need to be consistent. We need to not touch the money, okay? Because we're going to need it. And so you find a way to work out whatever you need to work out without touching that savings. But last but not least, you gotta have a budget. You gotta have a budget. Saving money starts with a budget. How much can I afford to put away without jeopardizing the daily expenses that I have or that I need to cover in order to live and take care of my family? Everything is always going to start with a budget. And I know people hate that word budget. It's so negative. It has a negative connotation attached to it because, oh my God, budgets means that I can't spend what I want to spend. I can't buy what I want to buy. You're going to restrict my lifestyle. And that's really not what a budget is. A budget is about awareness. A budget is about knowing how much money you have coming in, how much money you have going out, and what adjustments can you make in order to get what you want. Because if you want a vacation, you're going to have to save for that vacation. Where can I move some money around so that I can be able to save and afford that vacation and take my kids to Disney World during the summer? Okay? So you're going to have a budget. You need to know, you should always know, how much money are you making? How much money do I have coming in? How much money is going out, including taxes? How much money are they taking out in taxes that I could possibly adjust my W-2 or W-4, whatever the IRS form is, with my employer, so that I am receiving more money, so that I have more money to work with, I have more money to save, I have more money to pay my bills. Okay, so start with the budget. Now, once you have your budget and you've kind of determined what you can do, here are some tips on how to save from scratch. Put money in a money market savings account where you're going to get a little bit higher return than you would in a traditional savings account. Now, there are a lot of money market accounts that do have a minimum balance that you have to have, but there are some accounts out there where you don't have a minimum balance and you don't have monthly fees, and so you'll have to shop around for the best one. But always look into putting your emergency fund or your savings into a money market account where you can earn a little bit more interest than you would in your traditional savings account. Also, take advantage of apps that have the features of rounding up, so when you go to make purchases, they'll round up your purchase and they'll take a little bit, they'll take that money that they've rounded up and go put it in a savings for you. And so you don't even know, right? Out of sight, out of mind. They done took this money, they done put it away for you. And that's a great way to automatically save and start putting money away. Also, have a percentage of your paycheck coming and being deposited into a savings account. So just like you got the retirement automatically coming out your account and being put in your retirement account, have some savings automatically coming out of your check and being put into a savings account. Again, the whole idea of this is out of sight, out of mind. I'm not even thinking about it. I don't even know it. I don't even miss it. It's just automatically put over here. And this is what I'm working with when I get my paycheck to pay my bills and pay for my daily expenses. And then also, we want to get into cutting your expenses. Now, I mentioned it a little bit earlier when we were talking about budget and finding money. And you'll be amazed that when you get to looking at your expenses and finding out that you are overpaying for some things like cable and internet. Now, I'm not saying get rid of your cable and internet, because I certainly am not getting rid of cable internet. But the question becomes, do you need all that cable? And are you overpaying for internet? I went looking at my bill and realized I'm overpaying for internet. There's nothing wrong, people, with every year, 12 months to 24 months, going in when your introductory rate is gone and they want to raise the price, to go look at another company and find out, what can I get for less cheaper. And then a lot of times, if you go to that company and tell them that you want to cancel, they're going to do any and everything they can to keep you. And so then they'll begin to drop the price for you. But don't overpay for cable and don't overpay for internet. Now, cable, I've looked at my bill. My cable is way too much. It's way too much. But we've got a lot of features that we're paying for that we don't even use. Like, we're overpaying for HBO and Showtime and Stars and the movie channel. And I had to ask my husband, do we really need those? Like, we don't even watch HBO, and we've got HBO Max. So we're paying with HBO with cable, and we're paying for HBO Max. Why do we need all that? We have Netflix, okay? We have Amazon Prime. We have I think Paramount or one of those. Like, you have all of these streaming services. So why do we need all of these other services with the cable that's raising the cable bill? Like, something has to go. And that's an easy $50 to $100 right there, looking at those expenses and deciding which ones do I really need to keep that I use and which ones can go because I don't use them or I don't watch them. And right there, it's $100, $50 to $100 a month that you can now put into a savings. So don't be afraid to look at your expenses and say, how can I cut my expenses without cutting the quality of my life? And the other thing that you have to tackle is that debt. Okay? If you want to be able to save, you've got to get the debt paid off. Debt is the biggest wealth killer. And so if debt is the biggest wealth killer, that means that we've got to get rid of that debt so we can start saving money so that we have money to invest. And so we want to get that debt paid down. But let's say you don't have a lot of debt and you get debt paid off. Take that money that you were putting towards the debt and start putting it towards saving. See, a lot of time we pay off debt and now we have all of this additional discretionary income every month. And what do we do with it? We spend it. We go buy stuff because, oh my God, I've got more money. When no, don't do that. Take that money that you have just now that you're no longer putting towards your debt and putting into a savings account. Build up your emergency fund. Once you've gotten your emergency fund, then you can begin taking that money and investing that money for your wealth. And that has nothing to do with retirement, because remember at the beginning I said you should automatically be saving for retirement anyway. If you are working and they offer a 401k, or even if they're not, go get you a Roth IRA. But you should automatically be putting money away for retirement. But once we have that additional money, once we have our emergency fund, we're still going to have extra money. What do you want to do with that? That is the time to start taking that money and building your wealth. And you can build your wealth from scratch, just like you build your savings from scratch. So make sure that you check out my book, Path to Prosperity, the 17 Secrets to Building Wealth, because in that book, I tell you and I teach you how to build passive income, how to take your money, how to take your savings and put that money to work for you so that you can create the wealth, so that you can create the lifestyle that you want to live. Okay, so make sure you check that out. All right? Now, where you are is not where you have to be. Your past does not define you. You define you. So heal, transform, and pursue you.